Hello, so today I'm going to talk about the symbolism between Santa's elves. So Woden, the higher self, who is Santa, gives the pattern through the elves, the ancestors who are now the light ones, who have lived so many lives that they no longer need to incarnate, but they look back to help mankind. And through ritual, the conscious mind communicates the wish to the subconscious and unconscious minds, where the dwarves forge it into physical manifestation reality. So, how Santa symbolism fits in this diagram, in this framework. So, you, conscious mind, make a wish. You send it upward with a ritual or a prayer or an intention. Santa or Woden, your higher self, receives it. The elves, the guides, translate it into a pattern. The dwarves, your subconscious and unconscious, manifest it, build it. The gift arrives in the future in physical life. It is manifested. So, Santa, Woden, higher self, delivering the manifestation. So it is the manifested outcome. So I have a diagram in the video here. I'm not sure, I'm not good at making timing very well with videos, but so Woden isn't just a mythological god. He represents the higher spiritual intelligence within us, the part of us connected to density and divine will. That higher realm is also the home of the elves and gods. The elves represent guidance, yeah? They shape the pattern, the blueprint, the intention. Then the middle, we have the consciousness mind, which is me talking to you now, my conscious mind, which is simply you. So this is your everyday awareness, the part of you that makes choices and says, this is what I want. But here's the key. The conscious mind doesn't directly create reality. Below it is the subconscious and unconscious mind. And this is what I call the home of the dwarves. Because dwarves in Germanic mythology are the builders. They forge things. They create objects. The dwarves manifest our reality. And what connects all these levels is ritual. Ritual is the connection to speak to the elves and your higher awareness in Woden and shamanic fury, and the dwarves are in a line and communicating with each other. The subconscious and unconscious and conscious and higher self. So when you ask Santa as a child for something at Christmas, it's symbolic. You're making a wish, sending it upward to the higher self, Woden. The elves guide it into a blueprint, a pattern, and the dwarves build it into reality. And then Woden, the Sky Rider, delivers it back into your life, manifests it into reality, into your life. That's why Santa travels with 8 reindeer like Woden's 8-legged horse Sleipnir. This is the same archetype, the force that carries wishes between the worlds. So these elves now look like dwarves because over time we mixed them up. So they're little people with pointy ears in our modern Santa elves, but before we knew they were different beings. Dwarves, meaning less of a man, because they have not yet manifested as a man. They are working their way up to becoming a man. The elves are the ones who have had so many lifetimes that they no longer feel the need to incarnate, but they look back and help out mankind who asks for it. And you must ask for it through the art of ritual. It's the interface. Ritual is the bridge between these layers of consciousness. Ritual can be prayer, it can be trance, it can be chanting, it can be writing a wish, it can be a symbol. So because the subconscious and the deeper mind don't speak in normal words, they speak in symbol and feeling. So ritual is like the language that lets you send an instruction. So the subconscious mind, willy or will, and then that's where your dwarves are, your subconscious and unconscious mind. And then you have the unconscious. So this is where habits live. This is where deep belief lives. This is where trauma lives. This is where ancestral patterns live. This is where automatic emotional reactions live. And this level is way more powerful than conscious thought, because you can consciously want something, but if the subconscious programming and unconscious programming rejects it, it won't manifest. So dwarves in your unconscious and subconscious manifest reality, but only according to the instruction they receive. And this is where the elves come back in. The elves represent the guiding intelligence that tells the dwarves what to build. So that's why ritual to the elves is extremely important. So the full process is you decide what you want to manifest consciously. You do a ritual that sends the manifestation you want to manifest upward, higher, to the higher self, where the elves are and Woden is, the gods. And then the elves refine it into a blueprint or a pattern, and they pass it on to the dark elves, and the dark elves give it to the dwarves, because the light elves don't go into the subconscious mind to work with the dwarves. The light elves give it to the dark elves. The dark elves are there kind of as managers for the dwarves, communicators. That's why they're called dark elves, and they tell the dwarves what to build. And then in the end, in your life, it will be manifested. So that's the symbolism between Santa's elves and children making a request or a wish to Santa, and his elves build it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tschüss.